talk about how watching porn affects young girls, high school girls, and causes them to be kidnapped, abducted en masse in India today. Some of you have watched a porn clip and you've looked at the young girl and you've looked at her face, you've looked at the expression in her face, and you know that she was being violated and that she was not being paid. She was being forced to do this, and you felt really guilty when you started watching this because you knew something was wrong and yet you were enjoying it. Now, this phenomenon is called human trafficking, and it's how 1,000 girls from, on average, each state in India are abducted. High school girls, under 18, like +1, +2 in high school, are abducted every month in each state in India to be forced into prostitution and to make this pornography. And there are two ways that these two things are connected. So many people say to me, "Sir, it doesn't affect anyone if I watch porn." Well, it will affect you, ruin your marriage, as we've already looked at. But also, you know, because 30–40% of young guys want to see teen porn today. You know, no girl wants to do this for a living. This is not her career choice. And so what happens is, because there's such a demand, because so many crows of guys and men want young videos of young girls, anyone that puts it there gets masses of traffic and earns more money from advertising on their websites. And also, there's such a demand. Business Principle 101 says the supply will meet the demands. Every time you watch a young girl being abused or teenage porn, it is contributing, feeding the system of attacking en masse young, innocent girls. And this is what I want to talk about today. I want to talk about how these girls are captured, how they are broken so that they will submit to be sex slaves, how they're abused and forced to do prostitution and make this porn. But before I go there, there is another thing. You see, if you watch porn, you get bored with it. It's progressive habit. You drink wine, you go to whiskey, drugs, marijuana is illegal in most countries, even though it's less harmful than alcohol, because of the proven link that when people start taking marijuana, they will desire to take a higher level drug. And so, because the higher level drugs are so destructive, then the entry level is made illegal to stop people entering into this bad habit. It's the same with porn. When we see the fruits, we realize the roots are evil. And if you can understand where your porn habit is leading, I really believe you'll rise up and you'll say, "I'm not going to watch this anymore. This is not for me. I'm better than this. I'm going to do the right thing. And I'm going to wait and really enjoy my marriage and my lifetime lover." But what happens if someone watches porn? They get bored with watching like 19-year-olds. And after some years, you know, it's more exciting. There's a greater buzz to have a 15-year-old. And do you know what happens when by the time you're 30, you don't want 15-year-olds anymore. You want 12-year-olds. By the time you're 40, you're looking at primary school girls being abused. Is this what you want in your life? Is this the progression that you want? Is this the training you want? It's not natural. You're oversaturating one area of your life. We eat too much, it's unhealthy. We drive too fast, we have more chance of having an accident. We oversaturate our sexual desires. It will spoil ourselves, our future relationships, our children, and our nation. And it's the girls that suffer the most through this human trafficking. In a party, one guy gets you in the corner, say you're a girl, and starts to abuse you, you scream. How about if that happens every day for the rest of your life? Every night, one guy that you don't like comes up to you and starts abusing you, touching you inappropriately, and trying to kiss you when you're not interested. How about if they go all the way and actually rape you? Say 10 guys do that. Say it happens every day. That's what's happening to these girls that are abducted. Ashwani Kumar, the former head of CBI, gave a conservative estimate of how often this is happening. And he said 2 lakhs under 18 girls are abducted every year in India for Indian brothels. And UNICEF, United Nations for Children, and World Health Organization have said that many times more than this number are abducted for the brothels internationally. The World Health Organization said India is the #1 easy target to abduct young girls. You know, I'm a foreigner, but I can't bear the thoughts that the daughters of India are being abducted en masse, and that they will be gang raped every night for the rest of their lives until they die of AIDS. And primarily it's being fueled because of porn. People that watch porn, they want younger and younger girls. Then what happens? They can't get that age of a girl for a girlfriend. So if they want to actually try it out with a girl, which is what it leads to, you know, most guys say watching porn affects their sexual appetites and behavior. And they're watching young girls and then they want to try it out with a young girl. And so they'll go to the brothel and demand a trafficked girl so they can do anything with her. So they want a trafficked girl so they can have her screaming and torture her while they're doing it. And they want a trafficked girl because these are the only ones that are under 18. I have a friend who works for Project Rescue India, and he's rescued 1,400 young girls from prostitution. And he risks his life, and there are many now, amazing NGOs. The president of Rescue, he's used to be teaching in the colleges like this. He said, now I have to do action, I've got to do something about it. So he's leaving Rescue and he's joining an organization which goes into the brothels and finds out any children. They don't actually use the prostitutes, but they sort of act around, and then they go back in with the police and they get the pimps. They go after the men and the women that are selling these little innocent girls' bodies and making money out of it. And as they go in and, you know, we need more and more people that are going to give their life to rescuing girls in this way. But what I want to do is break the roots of this human trafficking. Because when guys watch it, they desire younger girls, they want to try it out. When they go to the brothels and demand a younger girl, the brothels have learned today that if they have younger and younger girls, they'll have more business. My friend that works for Project Rescue India, he said 20 years ago or 15 years ago, it was one young girl in a brothel. He said now it's almost 50% that are under 18. There is such a demand. Even though they charge so much more for younger girls, still there's such a demand there. And 10 crore child porn clips are watched every day by young guys in India. 20 million guys in India are watching this. Even if a small fraction want to try it out, that's a massive number, demanding young prostitutes, increasing this what's going on. In the next video, we want to look at how this is going on, how they are capturing and forcing these girls and training them, and I hope that the reality of seeing how watching child porn and teen porn affects young girls will cause you to decide, I'm not going to watch pornography anymore. There are so many sad parents around the world whose daughter has disappeared. She didn't run off with her lover. What happened was she was abducted, and they find out afterwards that their daughter is being forced to make pornography. Their daughter is being forced to be a prostitute. Many of these guys become policemen and they go out hunting after these pimps and human traffickers. I want to talk about how girls in India today are being captured. And if you're a young lady, you're going to learn this shouldn't happen to you. 1 in 200 girls are trafficked in India. So if there's 1,000 girls in your college, this is happening statistically to 5 of them, but should not ever happen to anyone. We mentioned earlier that this is not a small issue anymore. About 1,000 girls from each state each month this is happening to. You see, you should be careful about meeting someone on social media and then trusting them and going off with them to McDonald's. See, a guy will be a predator. He may be more handsome than any of your other boyfriends, and he will say, come, let's go to a coffee day. And 2 times he's building up your confidence, and then he'll say, let's go to Chennai for the day, or Uti. And you're never seen again. Halfway to Uti, you went into this village house and you said, what is this place? And he said, no, it's okay. You get inside the door and there's 2 men guarding the door. As soon as you go inside, they close the door. His face instantly changes. He goes up to the table and gets his 5 lakhs for delivering you to this place where they break girls and make them into forced prostitutes. You've just become a prostitute against your will. You will never see your mum again. You will never see your dad again or go to college again. You have been kidnapped in present day slavery. This should not happen to you. Follow your heart. Don't trust everyone. There's a voice in our conscience, perhaps from God, that tells us the truth. If you use your beauty to get assignments from guys, if you use your beauty and think that it can influence everyone, you are setting yourself up to be deceived that that you can use your beauty to make money, and one day someone will come along and say, hey, there's a new television show and we would like you to come and for us do some dancing. And they'll say 20,000 and you'll be traveling the world and you'll be meeting famous people. Don't believe it. And they'll say, don't tell your parents. See, if it's genuine, they'll go through the correct authorities. Young girls, when they're desperate, when they've lost their lover, when they want more money, when they're promised a high-paying job in Delhi or Chennai, be very careful these days, because en masse, this horror is happening. We in England have a dark part of our history where we had slavery, took people from Africa, and in the end we had to rise up and say this is not right. But today we have even more, a greater form of slavery. It's worse form of slavery. It's also torture, it's sex slavery. It's being done because making porn has become, with human trafficking, it's becoming the largest criminal activity in the world today. It's hard to stop this because it's such a big criminal activity. Second only to, sometimes in some countries, drugs, but always second only to arms, the criminal arm industry and weapons is this issue. Okay, how are these girls captured? It may be through meeting on social media. There were some girls who finished their degree in Delhi, and they begged their fathers to send them with reputed travel agents to Calcutta. They had a very expensive tour guide. Someone spotted this guy going around with these 3 middle-class beautiful girls, taking them to see the sights in Calcutta. And on the second day of their week trip in Calcutta, they offered the driver of the tour guide 1 lakh for each girls. By the 4th day, it was 2 lakhs for each girls. At first he said no, but eventually he caved in and he moved his family out of Calcutta. And he took these girls on their last day. Instead of going to the airport, he went to a remote place where these girls never came out of. It can happen to poor girls or rich girls, educated or uneducated, promising them being models, dancers, better work. They can be tricked by a marriage alliance when they don't know the family. They can be tricked by their own husbands, their own relatives. Some people today sell their own children, thinking they're going to get a better education. Don't believe the lie. They're not buying your child to pay for his food for 10 years to be a servant in 10 years' time. They're buying that child to sell that baby to perverted men who have been so into porn that now they want babies. These girls, they will go inside when they're driven by their so-called lover to a remote house. There'll be security each side of the door. They close the door and they won't be allowed out. And the guy will collect his 3 to 5 lakhs, and then the girl will be screaming, and then but she'll never see her parents again, never go to college again. This shouldn't happen to any of you. And one of my friends, their servant was offered a better job, and the family pleaded, no, we don't feel right about this. 7 years later, she was delivered on the floor outside their house, smelling, used to a horrible state. She was so sick, they put her straight in hospital. She died within 3 days of AIDS and other venereal diseases. She thought she was getting a better job, but she was forced into prostitution for 7 years. The biggest people who have chances of being human trafficked are girls who sell their bodies for their classmates or guys in their college. One day, instead of that one guy who's paid a few thousand rupees to use your body coming through that door, 5 guys will come through that door. They will gang rape you. They will then take you off to another location, and you will be trafficked. You will be taken across the world in boxes. You'll be chained. You'll be forced again and again to do these horrible things. When a girl is abducted in this way, then first of all they have to break her so that she's willing to sleep with all these different guys, 10 guys a night. 10 ugly, perverted, old guys. Guys, just to understand this, imagine you had to do it. You were forced to do it. Otherwise they'd kill you with a very old lady, very ugly lady. You had to kiss and do everything with a very, very old lady. How would you feel? That's how you can understand what a girl feels like when she's forced to do this. But you think, why would she just not run away? Well, they're locked up. Well, why would she agree? She could just say, no, I'm not going to do it. They are slaves. It is sex slavery. The first week, they break the girl. They make her drink. They show her porn. They drug her. They beat her continuously. They rape her continuously. They torture her for 4 to 5 days until she agrees. If the customer isn't satisfied, they will beat her again. They will then take her out to do parties where she has to go with 5 guys. She comes back to the brothel. She then again has to keep working in that brothel. If she gets sick, they don't treat her. It is horrific. And it's going on today. And it has to be and will be stopped by lots of people rising up and saying, if porn leads to this, we're going to cut our porn. This is not acceptable. In the army, they are trained to withstand torture, and but when they're captured, they rarely last more than 2 weeks. Even a trained soldier being tortured, tormented, beaten, denied sleep and food will cave in within 2 weeks. How much more a high school girl within a few days becomes so terrified of her new owners, the pimps, that she'll become a submissive slave. She'll do whatever she's told rather than be beaten. Yes, this is happening en masse. You'll see another video on this section of 4 girls that were rescued recently in Andhra Pradesh from such conditions, and they give their stories, which makes this all the more, the reality of this, it makes it even more clear. They are forced into prostitution. They become sex slaves. They're locked up day and night. If one girl tries to escape, they will kill that girl in front of all the others as a lesson. They will threaten to kill her parents or her family members, or if she's an older girl, her daughter, if she tries to escape. They have to serve 10 to 12 ugly, perverted, often old customers per night. They are violent, abusive, and do perverse acts. They stick their parts of their body anywhere on her or on her face. When some guys go to brothels, they specifically ask, not for a paid prostitute, but for a trafficked girl, someone that's been abducted in this way, because then they can be violent to her. Then they can do what they've seen on perverted pornography. They can try out all sorts of new moves and things. And it means they get a very young girl. So there's such a demand for this. This is why they're abducting more and more. On average, in each district, on average in India, 500 girls are kidnapped a year. And 1,000 per month in each state of India for internal and minimal international sex trafficking of under 18 girls. So just think of your district, as each year a whole college of girls goes missing. Sometimes we think they run off with their lover, but the lover's still there. They make investigations. The boyfriend that she had is still there. What's happened to her? Look at the back page of the local paper. You'll see all the girls that have gone missing. Think of your state. Every month, 1,000. 2 colleges go missing of girls every month in your state. You need to be careful. This is why your dad won't let you out late. He won't let you go to those parties. He protects you because he knows something you don't. You shouldn't get into a car with someone you don't know. Be careful. Follow your heart. Don't use your beauty to attract guys. Comparing rape to human trafficking. We think of rape as so bad, and it is. 30,000 rapes a year, but let's just compare the numbers and we'll see that rape that gets reported and rape that's unreported is only the tip of the iceberg. When a girl gets gang raped, if she survives, she has it one night. But the girls that get trafficked, they have this every night. Now, a girl, when she's in a brothel, she's forced to do it with this guy. She's not making love, she is being raped. Understand it. When someone's forced into prostitution and the guy pays and goes with her, if she's abducted in there, she is being raped. And therefore, if 10 guys come, what is that? That's gang rape. In other words, these girls are gang raped every night for an average 8 years until they die of AIDS or while trying to escape. That means that, using those statistics, if it's 1,000 rapes per annum per state in India, but there are 70,000 trafficked girls in each state of India on average, internal and external. So there's 70, within the brothels, there are 70,000 gang rapes per day per state in India because of human trafficking, because each night that is their experience. So rape is a terrible thing, but human trafficking is 25,000 times a bigger issue. And it's fed by all these DVDs and all these blue films. Let's stop raising up an army of lakhs and lakhs of paedophiles. There was one lady in my team, she spoke on these topics to so many colleges, and one night her husband said, look, my boss will give you 10,000 rupees if you will sleep with him. Let's do it. So some girls, they come and say, look, 40,000 rupee, this hush puppy, this rich old guy, he'll give you 40, just do it once, get your medical fees and then forget about it. You will never forget about it. You'll be scarred. Your marriage, instead of being a pleasure, may become painful. Girls, don't sell your bodies. You may get 10,000, but you'll ruin 50 years of sex with your husband, your future husband. I believe that when people realize how pornography is produced today, and when they see the horror of what is going on amongst the girls, that people rise up and say, we have got to stop this distribution of pornography. We cannot no longer separate soft porn from hard porn. We see the link, and you yourself put on porn blocking software. Yes, you may have to lose some of your WhatsApp friends. You exit that group, unfriend some people that send you porn. You have to fight it. If a virus comes on your computer, you keep downloading antivirus. The same way that we fight viruses on our computer, we have to fight porn on our computer. You may have to lose YouTube. on your smartphone. You can still have YouTube and put K9 software on your laptop. You can put an exception, put YouTube, and be very careful, adjust the security and the privacy levels on YouTube itself. But I believe that seeing this, we will change. Thank you.
Fost duse într-un bloc locativ din Belgrad. Proprietarul venea la noi și striga să ne pregătim, că vin cumpărătorii. Acești oameni puteau sosi la orice oră. Și noi trebuia să ne dăm hainele jos și să... ne atingeau și ne examinau ca pe niște vite. Uneori ne duceau într-o cameră ca să vadă cum ne comportăm din punct de vedere sexual. Vezi foarte mult atunci când au dus-o. Și-mi puteam aminti la privirea speriată din ochii ei și lacrimile ce se curgeau pe obraz. Mi-este frică să-mi închid ochii când adorm, pentru că atunci când o fac, tot ce văd este durere. Văd fețele tuturor acelor bărbați și a proxinetului meu.
Okay, so you pay with your credit card, and here's your receipt that you get. Tiger beer, $4. Bunch of grapes, $5. Karaoke girl for 1 hour, do whatever you want to her, $3. For $3, you can spend an hour with a girl and do whatever you want with her for $3. Dozens upon dozens of girls in a village of 3,000 people that are raped 5 to 10 times a day for money, for the pleasure of some guy, foreigner coming to our country.
There are more slaves in the world right now than at any time in human history.
Trafficking is simply an exploitation of vulnerability.
Do they want to be in prostitution?
No. Not even one single day.
No woman is on the streets because she just likes sex and or wants money. This is a system of utter manipulation.
Because they all traffic their daughters. They'll sit there, they could work, but they don't work, and they traffic their daughters every single day. It's that moral vacuum.
We live in a sexually obese culture. Every level of media is providing sexual stimuli.
If you're looking at softcore today, you're going to get bored with that, you know, and you're going to want to look at some of the harder core stuff. And then eventually, I think, for a lot of people, they want to experiment. They want to see, well, my wife's not into this, or I'm not married, so where can I find this?
So you go out into the streets at night looking for a body to rent.
It was $10. You know, I made $393 a month, and you could buy a girl for $10 a night. I went to bed with over 500 girls in 2 years.
It's unspeakable, the depth of pain and the injury. What's the answer?
What proof do we need? Is education and development solved evil in the West? I mean, what has that done? Nothing. We have all the evidence in the world that education and money does not get rid of evil.
మా ఊర్లో నేను పొలాల్లో పనిచేసేదాన్ని. పొలాల్లో పనిచేస్తుంటే అట్లే ఒక వారం దాకా ఆమె నాతో పరిచయం అయింది. పరిచయం అయితే నువ్వు ఇలాగనే ఎండల్లో ఎన్ని రోజులు కష్టపడతావు, ఇంకా నీకు ఢిల్లీలో ఇలాగ పని తీపిస్తాను వెళ్తావా అనింది. మళ్ళీ మా అమ్మ వాళ్ళకి డబ్బు చూపించి ఆశ పెట్టింది. ఇంకా ఆశ పెట్టాక మా అమ్మ వాళ్ళు కూడా అనుకున్నారు ఇంక ఇంట్లో పనే కదా అనుకున్నారు.
ఫస్ట్ మా మమ్మీ వాళ్ళు నన్ను బాగా చూసుకోవట్లేదు అని చెప్పి నేనేం చేశానంటే సవితి తల్లి మర్మన్న తల్లి మా అమ్మ చచ్చిపోయింది. సెకండ్ మ్యారేజ్ చేసుకున్నాను మా డాడీ. ఆయన వాళ్ళు బాగా చూసుకోవట్లేదు అని చెప్పి నేను ఇంట్లో నుంచి పారిపోయి వచ్చేసాను. ఇక్కడ రైల్వే స్టేషన్లో కూర్చున్నాను అనమాట. ఇక్కడ విజయవాడ రైల్వే స్టేషన్. అక్కడ 2-3 అబ్బాయిలు ఎంటపడ్డారు. నేను చాలా భయం వేసింది. నన్ను కిడ్నాప్ చేశారు.
ఇలాగనే మేకప్ చేసుకుని నువ్వు అలాగ పోవాలని నేను అలా వెళ్ళానంటే నన్ను కొట్టారు, మస్తు కొట్టేశారు. మళ్ళీ అక్కడ పోయి చాలా ఇబ్బందులు పెట్టించారు. పెట్టించి యాక్సిడెంట్ కూడా పోచారు. మేడం యాక్సిడెంట్ పోసి మళ్ళీ నేను అక్కడ ఉండకూడదు అనుకున్నాను. మళ్ళీ నన్ను మా అమ్మ వాళ్ళ ఇంటికి పంపించమంటే పంపించలేదు. మళ్ళీ నేను అట్లాగనే దందలో ఉండిపోయినా.
ఇక్కడ గేట్ దగ్గర బయటకు కూడా పంపారు. నేను ఒకసారి మిడ్ వేసుకోవాలని చెప్పి కూడా కొట్టింది. ఇప్పుడు మనం సంపాదించుకోకుండా పిలిచేసారు, వాళ్ళు అన్నం పెట్టరు, భయపెట్టిస్తారు. నేను ఏదో ఒకటి చేసేస్తాము, ఇంకా ఈ ప్లేస్ లేకుండా వేరే ప్లేస్లో పోయి అమ్మేస్తాము, మీ అమ్మ మీ నాయన రూపం కూడా లేకుండా చూపిస్తేస్తాము, అసలు మేము అక్కడ నీ రూపీ లేకుండా చేస్తామంటారు.
ఇలా మేకప్ చేసుకో ఇలా అని చెప్తే నాకేం తెలీదు. అదే ఫస్ట్ టైంగా నేను చేయను, ఇలాంటి పని చేయను. ఏదో అతని పని గురించి అని చెప్తే నేను వచ్చాను కానీ చేయను అని చెప్పాను. చేయను అని చెప్తే అప్పుడు రూమ్లో వేసి తాళం వేసి బాగా కొట్టారనమాట. నా మీద రేప్ చేస్తారు. నన్ను
కర్రలతో కొట్టడం, ఎముకల దగ్గర ఇక్కడ కొట్టడం, చాలా ఇబ్బంది పెడితే మళ్ళీ అక్కడి నుంచి విడిచిపెట్టుకొని తీసుకొచ్చి మళ్ళీ నన్ను కొట్టి ఎక్కడ పడితే అక్కడ పంపించేది. ఆయన కూడా నేను వెళ్ళేదాన్ని కాదు, ఆయన కూడా మళ్ళీ నన్ను పంపించేది. సర్లే అని నేను ఒప్పుకొని అలాగే వెళ్ళి మళ్ళీ పారిపోయి వచ్చేసేదాన్ని. భయపడి డబ్బులు తినలేక చేసేవాళ్ళం. చాలా దౌర్జన్యాలు చేసేవాళ్ళు. కారం పోసేస్తానని కళ్ళల్లో ఒకళ్ళు, కొట్టేస్తానని ఒకళ్ళు, వాత పెట్టేవాళ్ళు ఒకళ్ళు. అలా ఇబ్బందులు పెట్టి మమ్మల్ని ఇలా ఈ స్థితిలోకి తీసుకొచ్చి చేశారు. అన్నమయ్య కూడా సరిగా పెట్టేవాళ్ళు కాదు. అయినా కూడా మేము ఎవరెవరినో అడిగి డబ్బులు బయట కొనుక్కొని తిన్నా కూడా అవి కూడా ఒప్పుకునేది కాదు. తింటా ఉంటే అవి ఇసిరి కొట్టేది తీసుకొచ్చేసి. ఒక్కరోజు అయితే నాకు కింద రూమ్లో వేసి కొట్టితే పారిపోదామని చూసాను. అయినా పోనీలు మళ్ళీ పట్టుకొని వచ్చినారు. ఇక్కడ ఉండేదానికి కుదరదని చెప్పి మళ్ళీ నేనే కొట్టుకోవాలని చెప్పి అనేసి గ్లాస్ తీసుకొని కొట్టుకున్నాను. నేనే కొట్టుకున్నాక నేను చచ్చిపోతానని చెప్పి నాకు ఇలాంటి పని వద్దు అని చెప్పాను. చెప్తే మళ్ళీ ఆమెనింది ఇలాగనే చేయాలి, నువ్వు ఇలాగ చేయకుంటే కన్నా నీకు ఇంకా ఇక్కడ పెట్టము, ఇంకా చంపేసి బాక్సులు వేసి మూత వేసి పార్సల్ చేస్తామని. మళ్ళీ వాళ్ళు కొట్టేదంట, మళ్ళీ అక్కడ అట్లా వాళ్ళ దగ్గర దెబ్బలు తినాలి, మళ్ళీ ఇల్లు కొడతారు. సరిగా వాళ్ళకి చేయకుంటే ఇల్లు కొడతారు. ఇంకా వాళ్ళు డబ్బులు ఇచ్చినారు కదా, నువ్వు అలా చేయకుంటే ఎలాగా అని చెప్పి కొడతారు. నీకెందుకు డబ్బులు ఇవ్వాలి, మేము మొక్కని వాళ్ళకి ఇచ్చాం కదా అని చెప్పి నేనే అంటాను.
అబ్బాయిల దగ్గరికి పోకపోతే కొట్టడం, డబ్బులు తక్కువ వస్తే కొట్టడం, అన్నం పెట్టకన్నా కొట్టడం, అందరు అమ్మాయిల ముందర సీపుగా మాట్లాడడం, బట్టలు అసహ్యంగా ఇంతవరకు వేసుకోవాలంటారు, బాడీలు మరగా వేసుకోవాలంటారు, చాలా సీపుగా చూస్తారు. అంటే ముసలోళ్ళు వస్తారు, వయసోళ్ళు వస్తారు, తాగుడుబోతులు వస్తారు. ఇప్పుడు మనం ఇష్టం లేకన్నా నాకు వద్దు నువ్వు వెళ్ళిపో అని చెప్పినా కూడా వాళ్ళు మీ పాప ఇలాగా చేయనీలేదు అని చెప్పి వాళ్ళకు చెప్తే వాళ్ళు వస్తే మాకు వచ్చి కొడతారు.
కస్టమర్స్ అంటే చాలా దరిద్రపు వాళ్ళు వచ్చేవాళ్ళు. అట్లాంటి కస్టమర్స్ వచ్చేవాళ్ళు. వాళ్ళు వచ్చిన తర్వాత అంటే ఎట్ట పడితే నా మీద కూడా చాలా సిగరెట్ కాల్చడము, సిగరెట్ అట్లాంటివి చేయటం కూడా చేశారు. అట్లాంటివి కూడా ఉన్నాయి.
కస్టమర్స్ కూడా చాలా ఇబ్బంది పెట్టారు, నన్ను కొట్టడం కూడా అలాగే చాలా చేశారు. కానీ నేను ఎవరికి చెప్పేదాన్ని కాదు. నా మనసులో అలాగే దాచిపెట్టుకొని అలాగే బాధపడేదాన్ని. అంటే తాగుబోతోళ్ళు చాలామంది, కొంకణి మాట్లాడేవాళ్ళు, కన్నడ మాట్లాడేవాళ్ళు, తెలుగు మాట్లాడేవాళ్ళు అందరూ వచ్చేవాళ్ళు. ఇంత ఇస్తామని తీసుకెళ్ళేవాళ్ళు. తీసుకెళ్ళడం చాలా కష్టపెట్టేవాళ్ళు మమ్మల్ని. 5 మంది 10 మంది ఉండేవాళ్ళు. ఆయన కూడా మేము భరించేలా ఉండేవాళ్ళం. మళ్ళీ ఇంటికి వచ్చి పడుకొని ఇచ్చేది కాదు మాకు గర్వాలి. అలాగే మళ్ళీ పంపించేది బయటికి. పద్దాకలు బయటికి పంపించి రోజు నాకు ఆరోగ్యం బాగోకపోయినా కూడా ఇంజక్షన్ కూడా చేయించేది కాదు, ట్యాబ్లెట్ కూడా ఇచ్చేది కాదు నాకు. అలాగే చేసేదాన్ని.
అబ్బాయిలు వస్తారన్నమాట. అబ్బాయిలు వచ్చి బయటకు తీసుకెళ్ళి ఒక అమ్మాయికి నైట్ అంతా చేసి అంతా బిల్లుడితో మొత్తం కోసేసి తర్వాత అమ్మాయి తప్పించుకొని వచ్చేసి బట్టల్లో ఏమిలు ఆ అమ్మాయి చచ్చిపోతుందని చెప్పి పెద్ద పెట్టె, ఈ 1 సెంటు 1000 రూపాయలు ఉంటుంది. ఆ సెంటు 2 సెంట్లు తీసుకువచ్చారు. ఏరే అనింటే అంత దూరం పెట్లో కూర్చుందో లేదో వచ్చి రక్తలకి అమ్మాయి చనిపోయిన తర్వాత అందరూ ఏడ్చినాం.
15,000 దాకా వచ్చాయి వాళ్ళకి లాభం రోజుకి.
5-6 అమ్మాయిలకి వచ్చి చనిపోయారు.
డాక్టర్ దగ్గర చూపిస్తే అప్పుడు చెప్పారు హెచ్ఐవి ఉందని చెప్పారు.
ఒకరు మంచిగా చెప్తారు, నువ్వు వచ్చేసి నాతో పాటు నేను అలాంటి ప్లేస్లో నీకు మంచిగా జాబ్ ఇప్పిస్తాను, మంచి అబ్బాయిని చూసి పెళ్లి చేస్తాను అని చెప్తాను. వాళ్ళు చెప్పినప్పుడు ఆ అమ్మాయి అర్థం చేసుకోవాలి, వీళ్ళు నిజం చెప్తున్నారా లేకపోతే అబద్ధం చెప్తున్నారా, వాళ్ళతోటి పోతే మంచిది అవుతుందా లేకపోతే చెడు అవుతుందా అని ఆ అమ్మాయి అర్థం చేసుకోవాలి. నేను పోకూడదు అలాంటి వాళ్ళతోటి అని చెప్పి.
వేరే అమ్మాయిలకి నాకులాగే జరగకూడదని మీరు వెళ్ళిపోండి